Hello and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Friday, March 29th, 2013, Good Friday. And this is, the time right around 3 o'clock Jerusalem time when Jesus gave up the ghost and surrendered his spirit, and the curtain in the temple was torn from top to bottom, giving people free access to the presence of the Lord. Pretty amazing thing. Please find a seat on the Liberty Bus and we will begin our tour. Okay, I have not wanted to get into some of this food stuff because it is pretty gross, and I was with some friends last night and we were having dinner, we came right up to the edge of talking about some of this stuff, but everybody agreed that it is not dinner conversation material. Window cleaning chemical injected into fast food hamburger meat. It's not uncommon, even in a decent restaurant where there are not tablecloths. You're sitting there eating and someone comes and sprays whatever on the table to clean it, and you get that horrible smell. There's a smell of ammonia, cleaning solution. We all grew up probably smelling Windex. The reality is those smells take a toll on your health. So, if you can use natural products or things that are not quite so harsh. If you can't, don't inhale. I washed the windows, but I didn't inhale. How's that? GMO controversy heating up as Kashi cereal comes under scrutiny. So this was the week of the Monsanto Protection Act, and just recently we read that some of the GMO bans in Europe are no longer in place. So this issue has become one that the government is not going to address for us. We are going to have to address this as individuals, which means we need to know as much about our food as possible. Human tissue found in meats, but eating it is no threat. Now this is, I think it was South Africa. I was last night when I read this article, but what they said was that it's possible somebody could have just sneezed or cut themselves and there could be some human tissue mixed in with meat. That's just a kind of a disgusting prospect. Again, I'm guessing this would only be likely to happen with ground meat. You can, or some kind of processed sausage or something. You can always wash your fresh meat, and I love organic grass-fed Black Angus ground beef in burgers. It's one of my favorite things to eat, but can we trust even that? I don't know. Pepsi to begin using unlabeled, sweetness-enhancing mystery ingredients developed by aborted fetal cells company. We've heard this before, fetal cells in Pepsi. The real problem here, there are a hell of a lot of problems here, but one issue that I see is that they're turning us into cannibals. Now, this may be unwitting, but a couple weeks ago I talked about Balaam and how he taught Balak how to trick Israel into doing things that would incur God's wrath, because God would protect them as long as they had his favor, but when they incurred his wrath, then they would be vulnerable. Now, we're under a different covenant, but evil kind of thinks that way, that if they can pull us down and make us less, by tricking us and getting us to do these horrible things like cannibalism. And here is how we can respond. First town to declare total food sovereignty, opposing state and federal laws. Sedgwick, Maine is the first town to declare total food sovereignty. And what this means is that that food grown there cannot be regulated. They're free itself from the constraints of federal and state food regulation. Published reports say the town has passed an ordinance that gives its citizens the right to produce, sell, purchase, and consume local foods of their choosing. Regulations be damned. So this is how we can be triumphant over this plan that they have to get us to eat horrible, horrible things that eventually will lead to our demise or demise. Now a little bit about finances. Transparent push to record high. If you follow the stock markets, it's you know, this just doesn't make sense. We know that unemployment is high. We all know. I mean, look around the people you know, people who I'm familiar with, who I'm acquainted with, used to, you know, have money in the bank, take great vacations, maybe have a boat. And people just don't have the money they had. And that's just the way it is. U.S. savings rate near record low, per capita disposal income almost back to December 2006 level. You know, we need to be in reality about this. Just because the stock market is up, you know, sometimes people think that everything's rosy. Well, it's just not. And that last article that said that Americans don't have much in savings right now, maybe that's a good thing. You know, when you consider Cyprus, I mean, people might lose whatever savings they had. If people are invested in maybe some metals, maybe some storable food, maybe some guns, ammo, that might be a better investment than savings at this point. The definitive Cyprus bailout infographic. Everything you wanted to know about the unique, exceptional, non-template toolbox of blueprint instruments bailout of Cyprus, but we're afraid to read more than 100 words. So there's pictures here. So if you like pictures, this article is for you. E-government link enables local governments to accept Bitcoin. That's interesting. I've talked about tally sticks a few times. And one of the matters that really validated tally sticks was when King John, or one of the kings in England, I think it was John, began to accept them, allow them as payment for taxes. So maybe this validates Bitcoin to some extent. I've talked to people who are concerned that if any government becomes involved with Bitcoin on any level, that it will ruin Bitcoin, but we'll see. Liberal hypocrisy explained so that even they might understand. Well, they might. You know, the word that should be big here is not they, but might. And it's about, I'm pro-choice. Can I choose to smoke? Can I choose to have a large soda? And all the things that liberals have said that we can't do. But, you know, people can choose an abortion. And I find some irony here in the whole privacy issue, too, because the right to abortion, the Roe v. Wade was argued based on an implied right to privacy in the Constitution. Where is that? You know, I mean, if there's an implied right to privacy in the Constitution, and it applies evidently to abortions, why does it not apply to, you know, private emails? I don't get it. Don't try to explain it to me. It doesn't compute. IMF proposes $1.40 a gallon tax on U.S. drivers. I don't know how they justify this. And that on top of another very interesting article that I found that states that high mileage cars forbidden for sale in the U.S. People in other countries can buy Fords and VWs that get over 70 miles to the gallon. So we're getting it coming and going. People, I just really hope that enough people become aware of these things and just, you know, say, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore, I guess. That expresses the idea really quite well. And because it is Easter weekend, I don't like that word Easter, I'll say Resurrection weekend, I wanted to, some of this Deluge band music, I'm not into a whole lot of churchy stuff anymore. But these guys sing from the heart. I believe they're the real deal, and some of their music is just fabulous. And I want to just address paranoia a little bit. We tend to become paranoid, and there was a caller into the Alex Jones show yesterday that really was, the way he spoke, he was really kind of spreading fear and paranoia. I don't know if he was doing it intentionally or if he's just in that place himself. But there's really no need for us to go around paranoid, waiting for the other shoe to drop. There is a beautiful Bible verse that says that is about how God protected his people, and God acts on our behalf, and he says, touch not my anointed and do my holy ones no harm. Some people, that's sometimes translated, do my prophets no harm. He watches over us to protect us, and we do know that there are bad people, and we know that ultimately our enemy is the devil, and Jesus referred to him as the thief when he said the thief comes not but to kill, steal, and destroy. But Jesus said, but I come that they may have life, and that more abundantly. So that is our share, that we have abundant life. And of course, the thief tried to kill Jesus. He succeeded in killing Jesus, but did not get the desired result. So I hope that you have a joyful weekend filled with faith and hope. She who will walk in the dark is very glad for your company on these tours. The dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And in the morning, when Mary Magdalene and some of the women went to check to put some embalming spices on Jesus' body, the tomb was empty. So I hope you're able to rejoice in that this weekend. Love one another, insist on liberty, and take care.